Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal maintains conspicuous silence on the alleged involvement of Chief Secretary in security printing press scandal. Victims of loan sharks taking shelter at the capital's Bhrikuti Mandap start falling sick, at risk of contracting infectious diseases due to lack of proper food and safe drinking water. Gaza health authorities say Israeli forces shot dead at least 112 Palestinians. Israel blames the deaths on crowds that surrounded aid trucks, saying victims had been trampled or run over. And host Nepal up against Namibia in the Triangular T20 series today. Match scheduled to start in a short while. Nepal to bat first after losing the toss. It has come to the light that Chief Secretary Vaikunta Aryal was involved in the dealings with middlemen in the Terramox scandal. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, meanwhile, has maintained a conspicuous silence on the development, which adds to already existing controversies related to security printing press, among others. The corruption case in the procurement of the security printing press is currently in consideration at the special court. Former Executive Director Bikal Podel is in custody over allegation of irregularity. It has now been understood that Chief Secretary Aryal had transacted money with Podel through a third person. The development comes at a time when preparations are underway to appoint Podel to the post once again by amending regulations. Ironically, Chief Secretary Aryal had helped in the amendment of the regulation. Meanwhile, corruption watchdog CIAA has also been taking statements from Aryal in connection with the Terramox procurement. Questions have been raised on the silence maintained by both political and administrative leadership. It has already been 1 week since the victims of loan sharks arrived in Kathmandu after walking a distance of almost 600 kilometers on foot from Mechi and 500 kilometers from Mahakali, demanding justice. The victims, who have been taking shelter at the capital's Bhrikuti Mandap, have started falling sick. However, the government has remained indifferent towards their health and treatment. Children and senior citizens who had also joined the March for Justice have started reporting health problems. They have no access to health services and are reeling under lack of proper food and safe drinking water. Proper arrangement for their accommodation has also not been made. Doctors have warned of an outbreak of epidemic as the victims of loan sharks have been crammed together amid the changing weather condition. The government that has been hesitating to address their demands, while the authority has also remained indifferent towards their health condition that has been deteriorating by the day. Public officials of decision-making levels have grown fearful of taking decisions as many corruption cases have seen government officials investigated while ministers alleged of involvement have been given clean chits. This has affected the overall work execution of the government. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has been agitated by the trend of ministers and officials dodging responsibilities. The Premier has said this practice has dented state ambitions and has warned that compensations will need to be made by those whose indecision will affect the state. Premier Dahal made a sharp remark yesterday that the administrative hub Singhadarbar had been crippled at a time when the country should be heading towards development and good governance should be ensured. He warned of actions against ministers and government officials who affect development works, fail to take timely decisions and coordinate with required entities. The government had determined 1,777 milestones that needed to be completed by mid-February this year. However, at yesterday's meeting held to review the government performance so far, the Premier shared that 14% of these milestones had yet to commence, while 51% were still ongoing. Likewise, only 20 of the total infrastructure works had been achieved so far in the ongoing fiscal year. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces what they have to say to ministers and officials who have been alleged of involvement in corruption. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
खानुन नहुन्जेलसम्म सरकारी साधन स्रोत र शक्तिको चाहिँ दुरुपयोग हुनु हुँदैन।
यो देशमा कानुन सानाको लागि मात्रै छ के ठुलोको लागि कानुन बनेको छैन जस्तो लाग्छ।
कारबाही गरेर यिनीहरूलाई ठाउँको ठाउँ अब रङ्गे हात पक्रिनु पर्ने भन्ने जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ।
आफूलाई टुङ्गो लागेपछि मात्रै गाडी सेवा सुविधा यो साधनहरू अपनाउनु पर्थ्यो।
न्यायिक कारबाही गर्नु उचित देखिन्छ र निलम्बन पनि गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ।
जनताको इजलासमा जनताले थाहा पाउने गरी सुसूचित हुने गरी कारबाही भएको कुरा थाहा पाउने अवसर प्राप्त हुनुपर्छ।
प्रश्न खुल्ला रूपमा उठिसकेपछि उहाँहरूले जवाब दिनुपर्ने उहाँहरूको दायित्व हो र त्यसलाई अझै प्रश्न पार्नुपर्ने त्यस्ता पदाधिकारीको दायित्व हुन आउँछ। तर हामी कहाँ त्यस्तो देखिँदैन, पदमा टाँसिरहने प्रवृत्ति छ।
दण्डहीनताको अवस्था अझै पनि विद्यमान छ नेपालमा भन्ने संज्ञा हो।
नागरिक समाजले राम्रो नमान्ने या चाहिँ त्यो अलिकति सुहाउँदो नभएको कारणले पनि सकभर चाहिँ नबस्दा उहाँहरूलाई पदमुक्त गर्दा राम्रो हुन्थ्यो।
सरकारले त्यस्ता व्यक्तिलाई निलम्बन गर्ने र कानुन प्रक्रिया अगाडि बढाउने।
यिनीहरूले त यसरी हिँड्नु भन्दा त राजीनामा दिएर अनुसन्धानको प्रक्रियालाई चाहिँ सहज बनाइदिनु ठिक।
आरोप लागिसकेपछि अब नैतिकताको आधारमा सहज बाटो अनुसन्धानको लागि बाटो सहज गरिदिनुपर्छ।
The winter session of the Lumini Province Assembly is starting in Baluang Dang from today. Province Assembly Secretary Durlabh Kumar Punmagar informed that the Province Assembly's third session is scheduled to start from 3 this afternoon. The third session of the Lumini Province Assembly that ended on 8th of September last year, citing that the government was not able to provide business, is sitting today after almost 6 months. The agendas for today's session are reading the letters received from the office of the province head, informing about the cabinet reshuffle, and addresses by the leaders of the parliamentary parties. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal is scheduled to address the Lumini Province Assembly tomorrow. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has stated that Bharatpur metropolis has been developing as a new hub of the health sector. Speaking at the inauguration of the new building at Bharatpur Eye Hospital in Chitwan's Bharatpur this morning, Premier Dahal said that the eye hospital has been providing services to patients not only from the Bharatpur area, but also to service seekers from other parts of the country and India. 3 people were killed and 2 others were injured in an accident in Morang's Belbari this morning that involved a tipper, a bus and a jeep. The tipper crashed into the bus, which lost control and hit the jeep. According to the police, the deceased have been identified as Jhapa's Yedukanta Bhatrai, Deepak Khanal and Krishna Gajurel, who were all traveling in the jeep. The 2 injured passengers, Jhapa's Hari Khanal and Gayatri Bhatrai, were also traveling in the jeep. The police have informed that they are being treated at the Neuro Hospital in Biratnagar. The police have taken tipper driver Chandra Bahadur Bike of Morang and bus driver Sundar Kumar Maske into custody. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What's your take on the race to construct airports without adequate study? Your options are A, policy corruption, B, politics for vote, and C, result of public pressure. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. Gaza health authorities said Israeli forces yesterday shot dead more than 100 Palestinians as they waited for an aid delivery, but Israel blamed the deaths on crowds that surrounded aid trucks, saying victims had been trampled or run over. Palestinian health officials said at least 112 people were killed and more than 280 wounded in the incident near Gaza City. The loss of civilian lives was the biggest in weeks. In this regard, the Israeli military said a convoy of 30 trucks carrying Egyptian aid were operated by private contractors as part of an aid operation that it had been overseeing for the past 4 nights. In a later briefing, Israel Defense Forces IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari also said dozens had been trampled to death or injured in a fight to take supplies off the trucks. He said tanks escorting the trucks had subsequently fired warning shots to disperse the crowd and backed away when events began to get out of hand. He added no IDF strike was conducted towards the aid convoy. Meanwhile, the White House said President Joe Biden discussed the tragic and alarming incident with the leaders of Egypt and Qatar, as well as ways to secure the release of Israeli hostages and a 6-week ceasefire. While Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said it was an ugly massacre by Israel, and French Foreign Ministry spokesperson Christophe Lemoyne said Israel was responsible under international law for protecting aid distribution to civilians. Hamas said the incident could jeopardize talks in Qatar aimed at securing a ceasefire and the release of Israeli hostages it is holding. Likewise, the United Nations and other relief agencies have complained that Israel has blocked or restricted their attempts to get aid in. Israel denies putting any restrictions on humanitarian aid. A massive fire raced through a 6-story building in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka late yesterday, killing at least 43 people and injuring dozens. All 22 people admitted with severe burns are in critical condition. Relatives of the fire victims waited at the hospital in the early hours today to receive the bodies of their loved ones, while some were seen grieving outside the emergency department. Fire service officials said the fire originated in a restaurant and quickly spread to other floors. Firefighters used a crane to rescue people from a charred multi-storied building. It was not immediately clear what caused the blaze, which was under control after 2 hours of frantic efforts by 13 firefighting units. Bangladesh Fire Service and Civil Defense Director Brigadier General Main Uddin said the fire could have originated from a gas leak or stove. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Host Nepal are playing against Namibia in the 3rd match of the Triangular T20 series today. The match at Tribhuvan University Cricket Ground in Kirtipur that is scheduled to start in a short while from now, Nepal are batting first after losing the toss. Nepal have already lost both of their matches in the series so far. If they lose today's match, their chances of reaching the final will be difficult. Nepal lost their first match of the series against Namibia by 20 runs and suffered a 2-run loss to the Netherlands in their 2nd match. Netherlands defeated Namibia by 59 runs in yesterday's match. Nepal are facing Namibia for the 2nd time in the series. Nepal have not defeated Namibia in the T20 internationals yet. Netherlands lead the points table with 4 points, securing 2 wins out of 2. Namibia are in the 2nd spot with 2 points after a win and a loss, while Nepal are at the bottom of the points table with no points after 2 losses. This series is regarded important as all the 3 teams will be participating in the T20 World Cup 4 months later, to be hosted by the United States of America and the West Indies. The SAF Under-16 Women's Championship is starting in Nepal from today. The championship, which used to be played in the Under-15 age group format, will be played in the Under-16 age group format from this edition. Along with Nepal, India, Bangladesh and Bhutan are participating in the championship. Speaking at yesterday's pre-match conference, head coach of Nepal's Under-16 women's team, Chakra Tamang, said that Nepal will aim to win the title at home ground. Nepal are the defending champions of the championship. Nepal had lifted the title for the first time by defeating Bangladesh in the finals in 2022. All the teams will face each other in the tournament that will be held in a single round. The top 2 teams, after playing the league round, will advance into the finals. All the matches will be played at the Anfa complex in Sadobatu, Lalitpur. India will face Bhutan in the inaugural match of the tournament. Nepal are up against Bangladesh in their first match of the tournament tomorrow. All the matches will kick off at 3 p.m. The title decider of the SAF Under-16 Women's Championship will be played on 10th of March. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.